Hello, voices. Welcome back to the In My Voice podcast. I'm your host, Bwanaheri, and as usual, always excited to be back with you. I'm always very grateful for your support. Thank you so much for moving this journey with me and being part of the stories that I tell. Most of these episodes are not really inspired by me. They are ideas I get from you listeners. And it's been worth it because you make this journey of podcasting really enjoyable for me. Have you ever wanted to read a letter that was meant for someone else? Have you ever wanted to travel the world but didn't have the time or the money? If so, you are in the right place. Welcome to In My Voice, the podcast where we read letters and share travel stories about places by our guests. I am your host Bwanaheri, and each week I'll guide you through these two different yet fascinating worlds. In the first segment, we'll read letters written to listeners like you about a variety of subjects, from heartwarming stories to heartbreaking experiences. These letters offer a unique perspective on the human experience. Some of them will make you laugh, while the others will bring a tear to your eye. But they all have one thing in common. They are written from the heart. In the second segment, we will embark on a journey to explore the world through travel stories. We'll visit exotic destinations, meet interesting people, and experience the joys and challenges of traveling. Whether you are a seasoned traveler or someone who's always dreamed of seeing the world, you will find something to inspire you in these stories. So, join me every week as we dive into these two fascinating worlds. In My Voice. I promise you won't be disappointed. Subscribe now and don't miss an episode. Today's episode is inspired by a trending Ugandan phrase, Wekake Olowooze. I'm sure some of you have heard this, or perhaps, if you're a Twitter fan, you've seen a tweet that has a response of Wekake Olowooze. Now, this translates literally to force yourself to think. But the true meaning goes deeper. It's a call for all of us to use our common sense to reason things before we act. How many of us take time to actually think things through before we act? Not so many, all right. How many of us have been a culprit in our lives of judging or sending a response or saying something or posting on social media or responding to an argument without thinking it first, and then after you realized, what was that? What did I just do? But it's too late. The message is gone. The tweet is out. The post has been sent.
Man, about something that I said that I regret, that cost me a whole good friendship. A very, very good friend of mine. He's a guy. We were really close. He made me really feel comfortable, and he's a genuine good person. This is the person that I was talking to on a single day, like every day, every minute of that day. You get what I mean? Like every time we're on a phone call, or we're texting, or we're being goofy about something. Just, different conversations, nothing like, about relationships or something like that. No, just normal friendship, relationship. It was really good. And then there was a time that I got issues with my phone. All of a sudden, like my phone blacked out, and I was at the time when I can't get another phone immediately. So I was off my phone or WhatsApp or all those social media stuff for like a week. So obviously we're not communicating, and we were not in the same space. So he couldn't see me, or I couldn't see him, or I couldn't tell him this is what happened or stuff like that. And so many other people, of course. So a week passes, and then I get a new phone. So get on my phone, first thing I do is, talk to my family, because obviously everyone was worried. I'm far away from home. I can't communicate to anyone home and stuff like that. So I go to my WhatsApp, start, talking to my family and stuff. And then my sister sent me a meme that I really liked, and then I posted it on my status. So when he saw my status, he came to my inbox and then sent me a voice note that he was so mad, and he was complaining about I disappeared. And then the first thing that I did was post a status. Like I couldn't call him or text him immediately to like tell him how I was, or what's up. Get what I mean? I realized that he was like concerned. So immediately I read the message that I told him, "You're not even my boyfriend. So stop acting like you're my boyfriend." And then when I sent that, he read it immediately. And he got so mad, and then he told me, "You know what? I'm never talking to you again." At the moment, I didn't really realize what I did. But then after, when, he stopped talking to me, he stopped calling me and stuff like that, I started missing him. I started, get what I mean? Then I realized later that how I replied to him, he was coming in a place of concern, and you get what I mean? But at the time, I didn't really see that. After days of him not talking to me and trying to reach out, he's not reciprocating, is when I realized, I actually may have told him something that really pissed him off. And trust me, that relationship was never the same. And it cost me a very, very good person in my life that I could run to every single time that I needed something, or I wanted to talk, or wanted to vent, or like I wanted to have a normal conversation. It was never the same. So, man, sometimes you have to be careful. Really, really rational and think before we do something or say something to the people we love, because they get hurt and it's very hard to get back to where you are.
Ouch. That wasn't fun, was it? And I'm sure very many of us have stories like this. But hey, we all have been there. In fact, I bet many of you have your own reflections on how far thinking before you act would have gotten you if you utilize it a bit more. One of my favorite artists has always started this phrase, Wekake Olowooze. Whether it's a song title awaiting release or she was just being her sarcastic self, we are still waiting to see. Wekake Olowooze, to me, I think deserves more. Azawi, if you're listening to this podcast, Bambi, to wear your hit, give us a hit. We deserve a hit with the title Wekake Olowooze. If you missed that tweet, let me refresh your mind. Here is the exchange that led to the birth of Wekake Olowooze on X or Twitter. I prefer calling it Twitter, I don't know why, but Azawi tweeted, and I quote, "Not so long ago, I went to perform in Zombo district, and what I saw there was heartbreaking. Mwananga embeera y'abantu mbi nnyo. We pay taxes, but it hurts that it can't even benefit our most vulnerable people, okujjako abakamuzi. So why pay taxes? I mean, why?" And then someone called Reese responded to this tweet and said, "Let's hope the money you collected went to charity." I'm sure you see where this is going, right? Azawi responded to Reese and said, I quote, "You think that's sustainable?" Question mark. And said, "Wekake Olowooze. Force yourself to think. Think about it." Someone, without thinking, without reasoning, without taking a moment to think, okay, what is the essence of this tweet? Jumped onto a tweet that was sympathizing with the people of Zombo and asking very valid questions of where our taxes actually go. And then someone tells this person that, you know what, I hope the money you collected during this concert was sent to charity. This Wekake Olowooze phrase has spiraled, and everyone who seems to tweet without reasoning is quickly asked to Wekake Olowooze in the replies. We've all been there, haven't we? Maybe a friend convinces you to try that crazy cocktail that you've never done, and you do not know what the repercussions would be, and you go ahead and try it without thinking, like, you know what, bandwagon. Or a quick social media post fueled by anger spirals out of control. In the moment, emotions run high, and thinking clearly can fly out of the window. But that's exactly when Wekake Olowooze becomes crucial. Force yourself to think. Let's talk about some situations where a little bit thinking could have saved the day. Remember that time when everyone rushed to invest in that guaranteed high return scheme, only to lose their entire savings? A quick moment to just think, researching the company, understanding the risks could have prevented a lot of heartache. But no, we reacted, invested in these schemes and lost lots of money. Oh, how about those impulsive online arguments? Or on your WhatsApp groups, friends and family? We've all seen them. A heated exchange of comments, accusations flying faster than a hummingbird's wings. Before you hit send on that angry message, you need to take a deep breath and think, is this really worthy burning a bridge? Could a calm conversation achieve a better outcome? Look, Wekake Olowooze isn't about being afraid to take risks, or, as some people think, being stupid when someone is stepping on you. It's about taking calculated risks. It's about using that brilliant mind of yours to think things through before you jump. Sometimes the best decisions take a little time and reflection. I'll admit, I am a culprit. I am guilty of not thinking before I send my messages sometimes. It's been quite something that I've done over time. I am naturally a sarcastic person, and sometimes I do not think about the outcome of my sarcasm. I do not think about the situation, the moment. There was this one time in a WhatsApp group. We were having a constructive argument. Serious stuff. Suddenly the person I wasn't agreeing with made very valid points for what I should have read and thought through before responding. But he made one mistake. He made one very, very slight mistake. His English bundles expired before he sent his submission. And his whole point was flawed because the grammar wasn't right. But of course, English is not our mother tongue, so I was supposed to understand that. And I wasn't supposed to say anything else but really pick out the points because I actually knew what he was saying. But I found it funny. Even in the heat of the moment, I found it funny. And I responded with a meme laughing and saying, "Your English bundles have expired." The very important conversation quickly turned into a very bitter exchange. And I'm sure you can guess how it all ended. But hey, we all learn from our mistakes, right? Yeah, I have learned quite a few lessons, and nowadays I hardly respond when I feel like something is getting to my nerve and my response may hurt someone or may not be appropriate. I actually would just rather read your message and not respond and wait for when I am calm to actually respond. I'm proud of myself. I did that 2 weeks ago. I saw a message, it got to me, and I was like, you know what? No, not today. I'll handle this later. That was never me. Here's the thing, voices. Statistics don't lie. Studies show that a whopping 68% of us have made impulsive decisions we later regretted. That's almost as high as the chance of forgetting your Kavera while doing shopping in the market. Our brains are amazing, but sometimes they take shortcuts. These shortcuts are called cognitive biases, and they can lead us astray. We might only focus on information that confirms what we already believe, ignoring any evidence that contradicts it. Or maybe we judge a situation based on the first thing that pops into our head, like assuming everyone who doesn't talk to you anymore hates you. And perhaps you think they cut you off when they were making their New Year's resolution, when they were cutting off fake friends. Not always true. Have you ever heard a story about someone getting scammed online and suddenly you are suspicious of every good deal you see? That there is called availability bias. We judge the likelihood of something happening based on how easily examples come to mind. Just because you know very many examples of something happening, when you see it, you think, uh-oh, even that isn't right. That is availability bias. And another bias is confirmation bias. This is when we only focus on information that confirms what we already believe, ignoring anything that contradicts it. Maybe you are convinced that all border riders are reckless, right? Every time you see an accident that involves a border rider, you think border riders are very careless, right? Or when you see someone downtown wearing a Man U jersey, you're quick to think they're noisemakers. I had to do that. I had to do that to my Man U friends because, after all, we beat them. I'll throw in a final one. And this one is personal. And trust me, the next time someone tells me this, we are fighting. The assumption that all roadside Rolex guys have a dirty towel somewhere. Guys, come on. I know very many people who have come to me and told me, how come you have a clean towel? See how these biases trick us? That's why Wekake Olowooze is so important. By taking a moment to think before we act, we can become aware of these biases and make more thoughtful decisions. We all have seen how people easily jump onto trends on Twitter. I've seen comments on Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook. Someone says something. When you read it, you're thinking, how? How can you reason like this? You need to take some time. Go to Twitter or X, oh my God, and search Wekake Olowooze. You'll see the very many tweets and responses on these particular tweets urging people to think before they act. So, how does forcing yourself to think help you navigate these mental roadblocks that you have? Simple. Challenge your assumptions. Don't just jump onto the bandwagon. Ask yourself if there is another side of the story before reacting impulsively. 2. Take a breather. You need to give your emotions time to cool down before hitting send on that fiery message. Remember, a good matoke dish takes time to cook, and so do well-thought decisions. And 3rd, consider alternatives. There is more than one way to make your Rolex. Some will tell you, I want nyambisi. Others will tell you, sagala munyanya. Others will tell you, I want my omelette dry. And others will say, I want it wet. So, explore all options before committing to one course of action. Think about your situation. Think about the other person's situation. And then consider the best alternative, not for only you, but for both of you and for the best of the situation that has sparked off whatever it is that you're responding to. So, voices, next time you're about to make a decision, big or small, take a moment. Wekake Olowooze. Think about the potential consequences. Consider alternative options. And most importantly, trust your God to do the good thing. A little common sense can go a long way in navigating the complexities of our lives. Dear voices, this brings us to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, take some time and share. And if you haven't subscribed to the In My Voice channel, please hit subscribe so that you can always get the notification whenever we release the latest episode. If you have any comments, always feel free to share the comments so that we can build a bigger and stronger community of voices together. Until next time, I am your host, Bwanaheri. Ciao, adios.